They didn't announce it on TV. There was no official press conference, no emergency alert on your phone. But somewhere in the last 10 years, we quietly lost control of our money. Prices rise faster than your paycheck. Savings disappear faster than they're made. Rent approaches mortgage levels. Groceries cost as much as small luxuries. And for the first time in modern history, most people don't know where their money is going. Not because they aren't working hard, not because they're irresponsible, but because the system changed silently and nobody told you. Today, I'm going to prove to you that we've lost control of our money. And more importantly, why? This isn't fear-mongering. This isn't speculation. This is what the data and real life is screaming. Maybe your moment was at the grocery store when your usual items rang up, $160, not $100. Maybe it was at the gas pump, $5 a gallon staring back at you. Or maybe it was your rent renewal letter that told you your rent had increased by $200 to $500 a month. Everyone has had this moment. The moment you realize, my money doesn't stretch the way it used to. Why? Because somewhere along the line, money stopped obeying you, and you started obeying money. Let me show you something. Over the last decade, groceries prices went up by 25% to 40%. Fuel prices went up by 40% to 70%. Housing prices went up by 50% to 300% depending on the city. Healthcare prices went up by 100%. Education prices went up by 150% in 20 years. Childcare prices went up by 50% to 60%. Now compare that to wages. Real wage growth is almost flat. The median income of middle class barely moved when adjusted for inflation. Starting salaries are stagnated for years. And worst part, savings rates are the lowest in decades. This is not a coincidence. This is not normal inflation. This is a global restructuring of the economy, and the middle class was never warned. There's a second thief in your wallet, and it's sneakier than inflation. Shrinkflation. Companies didn't raise prices first. They shrunk the product. Candy bars went from 60 grams to 42 grams. Chips bags dropped from 200 grams to 160 grams. Juice cartons shrank by 10% to 20%. You're paying the same, but getting less. This is corporate inflation, hidden in plain sight. We didn't lose control by overspending. We lost control because the rules changed. There was a time when one cable bill covered everything. Now, your monthly subscriptions include Netflix, Amazon, Disney+, Spotify, Apple, iCloud, Adobe, gym apps, food delivery, cloud storage, payment fees, banking fees. Individually, they are $4.99, $12.99, $8.99, and collectively, $150 to $300 every month. You didn't lose control intentionally. You lost it because companies designed it that way. Every tiny fee you ignore was engineered to be ignored, until one day you check your bank balance and ask, where did my money go? Let's talk about the real monster. Housing. In the US, the median home now costs 8 to 10 times the median income. In Australia, Canada, India, and the UK, it's even worse. But here's the shocking part. A home that cost $250,000 in 2010 now costs $500,000 to $700,000. Did incomes rise 2 to 3 times? No. This is how control slipped away. The American dream became an American illusion. People aren't buying homes because they're irresponsible. They're not buying because the system doesn't allow it anymore. You can do everything right, budget perfectly, track every dollar, But one hospital trip, one emergency, one ambulance ride, and you're hit with a bill. $3,000, $8,000, $14,000, $40,000. Medical debt is now the #1 cause of bankruptcy in the U.S. This is not losing control. This is being stripped of control. When prices rise faster than incomes, people turn to the only option left: debt. Credit card debt has crossed $1.3 trillion in the U.S. at interest rates of 25% to 30%. Meaning, you're not just paying for groceries, you're paying interest on groceries. Student loans, $1.7 trillion. Car loans at all-time highs. Personal loans, soaring. Debt is no longer a choice. Debt is how the system keeps the middle class afloat and trapped. Here is the honest, brutal truth. The economy now rewards owners, not workers. People who own. Stocks, real estate, businesses, digital assets got richer, much richer. People who only earn a salary fell behind. Not because they're lazy, not because they're bad with money, but because their income is fixed in a world where everything else is variable. This is the root cause. You can't outrun inflation with a paycheck. You can't beat corporations with spending cuts. You can't escape financial pressure by budgeting better. You didn't lose control. Control was taken from you. So now the question is, how do we get control back? Let's keep it simple. The first step would be build a second source of income. The modern middle class cannot survive on one paycheck. Freelancing, online skills, remote jobs, digital business, investments. One income equals survival. Two incomes equals control. The second step would be become an owner, not just a consumer. Every time you buy something, ask yourself, can I own a piece of this company instead? Stocks is always greater than stuff. Assets is always greater than expenses. The third step would be spend with intention, not emotions. Most people aren't overspending. They're bleeding through subscriptions, fees, interest, and penalties. Fix the leaks and not the lifestyle. The fourth step would be to protect yourself like no one else will. Emergency fund, insurance, budgeting systems, financial literacy. Control comes from preparation. We lost control of our money, not because we failed, but because the system changed. But today, right now, you understand the system. You see the truth, you know the traps, you see the patterns, and that knowledge is the first step toward taking your power back. If this message opened your eyes, if you felt the truth in these words, then help this reach one more person who needs clarity. Like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Raveling Money, where every video helps you take your financial power back. Because the world is changing fast, and we aren't going to let the middle class disappear. Not on our watch.